Too Many Hats podcast with your hosts with the most, Tony and Lavelle. Every morning from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. We also have Queen Watkins with Clock That He. Tune in with us and have a great time. Let's talk about it right here. Too Many Hats podcast.
Top of the morning to you, my good people. Happy. What day is this? Thursday? It's a beautiful Thursday, man. Beautiful day in the neighborhood, as Mr. Rogers would say, man. This your host with the most, Tony May, Lavelle Salter. What it do, Mike?
Everything is everything, Doc.
Boy, you said I just like one of them old man. Everything, Tony. Everything is everything, Tony. Man, well, that's good, man. Look, we got one today because yesterday, our good friend Rodney Stanton threw out a topic, and I think it's a very, very good topic. And he wanted to talk about men's health and how we are really reluctant to go and get our normal checkups and our annual checkups and stuff like that, like we're supposed to. And so we want to talk about this morning, like, why do we fear? Why is it that men fear going to get these checkups, these doctor checks, or just going to the doctor in general? And so, of course, I did a little research. I did a little research. And there are some things, but so this was done by Dr. Thomas R. Kelly, a family medicine doctor, and this was an article done in May of 2023, so it's still kind of new. And he said for most people, going to the doctor probably isn't high on their list of fun things to do, but men in particular tend to avoid seeking out regular medical care. And he says surveys have consistently shown that men are less likely than women to visit a physician. A Harris survey for Orlando Health showed a third of the men polled didn't think they need an annual screening. That's crazy. A third of the men that they polled, I don't know, it didn't say how many men that they polled, but a third of the men didn't think they even needed an annual screening, which is crazy in itself. So then they asked the question, they said, why do men avoid going to the doctor? Why are they reluctant to go to the doctor? And he came up with four reasons why men avoid the doctor or going to the doctor. Men give a lot of reasons why they don't have scheduled, regular doctor visits. But here are four most common ones that Dr. Kelly said that men have. The number one reason is fear of bad news. Men often worry that a symptom they're experiencing might lead to a doomsday diagnosis, so they avoid thinking about it or consulting a doctor. So if you think about that, Lavelle, if you really think about what he said with that, that's why, I be wondering, like, why is it that there's so many men die from prostate cancer or all this stuff? It's because by the time they go and actually get checked out, it's too late. They have went so far and waited so long to go get checked out that they can't have the surgery, they can't have any treatment because they're already in stage 4 of the cancer.
And technology now is so easy, but you literally can. You don't even have to go to the doctor. They'll send you a thing. I use the what's it called?
Telehealth.
Not telehealth. It's a thing. They send it to you, and you use your restroom, and you put your
Urine.
not your urine. I'm trying to use the correct health term for the other stuff.
Your feces.
Yeah, you put it in you use the restroom, and you put it in a little thing, and you send it out to them, and they let you know what's going on with it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's what I do.
And they got, even if you fear going to the doctor, they got it where you got nurses and stuff that'll come to your house and do all your little vitals and take urine, blood,
Cologuard.
yeah, and urine and they do all that straight from your house. So, but that first one, the fear of bad news, really kind of hit home in terms of why so many men die of cancers and prostate cancers and all this stuff, because they wait to the absolute last minute to go get checked out when they're in this excruciating pain instead of going checking it out or just having their annual screenings. Because I've had since I turned 50, I've had 2 colonoscopies. And I just had my other one last year, so I'm not due for another one for 5 more years. Well, 4.5 more years now. But I make sure I go every year. I get my annual screening, I get my biometrics done. I want to know. And if I'm not feeling good now, if I'm hurting about it, I don't wait and go to the doctor no more. I go. So that was the first thing. The second thing is just the embarrassment. It can be hard for men to acknowledge to a doctor that they have a problem, particularly if it involves their ability to perform sexually or control their bladder. So the embarrassment, you got to think, I'm a grown man, and I got to go in here and tell this female doctor or male doctor, whoever I'm seeing, that for one, I can't get it up, or 2, I can't control my bladder. I'm pissing on myself, or you know what I'm saying? So I've never had any kind of issues talking to my doctor about anything. And I think that's why you have to have a doctor that you're comfortable with, that you trust, and that that when you share and tell, because and just think about this. Even with you sharing the doctor, don't think nobody else in the office ain't gonna know, because those people have to process whatever the doctor is telling them. So it's still gonna be people in the office that know what's going on, even if you do, trust your doctor and know confide in your doctor. People in his office still gonna know, because they have to process. They got to take the blood. They got to put it in. They got to give you the results and all this stuff. So they still gonna know.
Right.
Stoicism, admitting you have a medical issue might seem incorrectly as a sign of weakness, and that doesn't come easy to some men, in part because societal norms. That's a word we don't never really hear, stoicism.
No, I was wondering what the word does that mean.
And it basically means admitting that you have a medical issue where showing a sign of weakness. And if I admit that I have a medical issue, that is showing a sign of weakness for some men. So they just won't say nothing because they don't want to be seen as a weak individual. To me, that's just crazy in itself altogether. That you think that it's weak to go to the doctor and admit that you got a problem. Let's see. Pop said home healthcare apps on the phone, getting your shots, and drug stores, urgent care. Where don't we don't have to go to the hospital. No excuses these days. Exactly.
Yep.
So the fourth thing he says, out of all of the reasons and excuses men don't go to the doctor, the fourth thing that Dr. Kelly said was overconfidence. The Orlando Health Survey that found a third of the men thought there was no need for annual health screenings also revealed that nearly 2/3 thought they were naturally healthier than other men.
Wow.
They literally say, I don't go do annuals because I'm healthier than most men, so I don't need all that. By most standards, I feel like I'm healthy, but I still every year, Lavelle, like clockwork, in February, go have my annual.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can feel, I mean, you can really, really feel like everything's going. And the key, a prime example of that is like this past year when I went, right before I went, because I had lost the weight and stuff, and from not eating the meat, so I had lost the weight. My doctor said, well, Mr. May, because he lowered my blood pressure medicine because it was too high, because it was, because I had lost the weight. And he said, we might could take you off the cholesterol medicine altogether. He said, so a month prior to coming to have your physical, just stop taking it. So let's see what it looked like. I felt fine. Everything felt fine. I felt fine. Man, they got them results back. That lady called me. She said, man, start back taking your medicine ACE immediately.
Wow.
So you can feel fine.
Mm-hmm.
and not know that there's an issue.
Right.
And it wasn't that my cholesterol level was off the chart, but from me taking it and it not hardly showing up at all till it's showing up, was that was a red flag. Like, no, start back taking the ACE immediately. And I felt fine.
Right.
Why men do seek regular medical care, they may withhold information from their physician or even lie to them out of fear or embarrassment. So even if they go to the doctor, even if they go and get their checkup, they still lie to the doctor. Now that's crazy. So you gonna go but still lie? So what's the purpose of going? Because he's not gonna be able to truly diagnose the problem if you lying about whatever issues you're having, or you saying you go and say, I ain't got no issues, doc.
Yep.
Knowing you got ED, and the woman sitting out in the lobby saying, I hope he out there end up telling them about his ED. Let me see. Monica says a great idea for employers is when they have men's fairs to educate male employees. Hold on, can't read it. Male employees
on the importance of getting checked out, and when they give some type of incentive when you go to your annual visits, gift cards, etc. Yeah, a lot of jobs do it now. So
my job does that. I remember, because we go on vacation every year, right? And so when we the early part when I worked at City, when we went, I think we had went from Cigna to Blue Cross Blue Shield, and Blue Cross Blue Shield offered incentives for different things, for wellness checks, annual wellness checks, biometric screenings, just different things. And every year I would do like get my biometric screening. That was $250. I would get my annual. That was $250. I would do like go in and do like my little counseling thing. That was $250. And then they had one that you could pick, whether it be walk a million steps or go see some other kind of doctor do it. So I would always get $1,000 in gift cards every year that I would take on vacation with me. And I'd be like, I got $1,000 of free money basically that I can spend on this and that, And them $1,000, and then when they kind of changed our insurance up a little bit, they said, well, we can either lower the insurance premiums, but if we lower the insurance premiums, you won't get the incentive, the $250 incentive. So now our incentive is only $50 per item instead of $250.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, $200 is better than nothing.
What you said?
Yeah. So I definitely like the incentives. And Rodney said, a person who can endure pain or hardship without showing their feelings or complaining.
I think it had to do with something that you were speaking on one of the points.
Oh, the stoicism, probably. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And so, you know, avoiding the doctor can be very dangerous. You got many conditions and diseases, you know, they respond better to treatment when they're diagnosed early. That's like we talked about, you know, a lot of men end up dying from prostate cancer and stuff like that because they wait too late to get it detected. And by the time they get it detected, it's already spread.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so, you know, early detections is the way to go. And that's why even I don't know if men are doing this, but my doctor always tells me this. He said, when you're in the shower, he said, just reach down there and feel your testicles to make sure there are no lumps or nothing in your testicles.
Mm-hmm.
And you talking about for years, I ain't never know that. And when I started going to get my annuals, you know, so regularly I get in the shower, I make sure my testicles don't have lumps. And you have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that you don't think about because your testicles are normal, you know, they lumps anyway. So you wouldn't be thinking about that to check for abnormality in your testicles, really,
right.
you know.
Yeah.
So men, if you're not doing it, just like the women go and feel their breasts, and we can in our chest, we can get a lump in our chest.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah. So you need to absolutely positively make sure that you're getting your screenings done, your annual screenings, even if you're not going regular, at least your annual screenings.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're gonna do it, the annual screening, they're gonna do your biometrics, your blood work, and take urine and all this stuff. And they can kind of check and make sure that your liver, your bladder, and all these other things, your blood pressure and all this stuff that you're okay, that you're doing okay. Or if you're not, they can try to prescribe something that'll help you, or come up with some other kind of remedy or something that can help you to prevent any other issues. It says a doctor performing a colonoscopy, for example, can detect and remove polyps in the colon well before they become cancerous. And it's worth having a conversation with your doctor to determine if prostate cancer screening is appropriate for you. When found early, prostate cancer may require less aggressive treatment. So we just talked about that. But you can't overcome your hesitation of going to the doctor, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's easy enough to say that men need, to just man up. Man, you need to just man up and go to the doctor, man. But for some men, it's more complicated than just telling somebody to man up and go to the doctor. If you have a father, a spouse or partner who's been avoiding checkups, some gentle nagging, let's call it encouragement, may be in order. You tell them the benefits of getting checked sooner than later. Remind them that they're loved by people who want to see them stay healthy and happy for years to come. If you're a man who has been putting off a visit to the doctor, do some reading on conditions that respond to treatment early and what the consequences of inaction might lead to. Ask your friends which doctor they see. Get a word of mouth recommendation from physicians they trust. That's very important.
Mm-hmm.
That's very important to make sure that whoever you're going to see, that you trust them, and that can help with a lot of men issues too, that you go on to somebody that maybe a friend, I recommended, my doctor's not really taking any more outside, but if I tell him, hey, I got a friend that want to come see you, a family member, he gonna say by all means. He's not gonna shut it down to them, even though he's not taking on new patients. But he said, now, my family member, you should recommend a family member. That to me, you know, that's coming on you recommending they needing a good physician, and I'm gonna take them on.
Right.
Once you have gone to a physician's, subsequent visits become easier, and that's a habit you can live with for years to come. So you definitely got to make sure that you're getting your regular checkups and doing what you're supposed to do. And I also did a little bit more research. And this one had a few more reasons as to why you know, some men just don't go. It said men are often reluctant to visit the doctor due to a combination of factors, including traditional gender roles that emphasize strength and self-reliance, fear of bad news and embarrassment. We talked about those, about discussing health issues. Many men also fear being judged. Now that was different for me. Many men also fear of being judged or feeling uncomfortable during the exam. I know you can feel uncomfortable because I can just tell you, the prostate part, the prostate examination part of my exam, my annual exam, is not one that I welcome. It's uncomfortable. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's totally uncomfortable. And so I you know, that could be very uncomfortable for some men.
Right.
You know, to get a prostate examination or feel uncomfortable even doing a prostate examination. Masculinity and self-reliance. Traditional masculine ideas often discourage men from admitting weakness or seeking help, leading them to delay or avoid seeking medical attention. We already talked about the fear of bad news and embarrassment, so I won't even talk about that. And really, the overconfidence. We talked about that a little. Some men believe that they are naturally healthier than others, or that their health issues will resolve on their own. That's the most ludicrous thing I ever heard in my life. Now, depending on what's going on, some things will. Like sometimes if you have gas, sometimes gas will just pass on its own. You know, different little things like that. But I ain't gonna be foolish enough to think that my prostate cancer gonna just pass on its own.
Right.
You know. So but some men do. They feel like their health issues will resolve on their own, leading them to dismiss the importance of regular checkups. The discomfort, we just talked about the discomfort with the exams. The expectation of uncomfortable or potentially embarrassing exams can deter men from seeking healthcare. Especially, I guess me, man, when it comes to my health, ain't no such thing as embarrassing for me, because I don't care if you're a man, woman, or whatever. I had women come in there and, you know, check me and do stuff. Man, look, it is what it is. You know. The lack of convenience. Some men find it difficult to schedule appointments due to work commitments or the lack of availability, making it harder to prioritize doctor visits. The doctor visits, man, for me, rank up there. All kinds of medical visits for me rank high. Like I've now, probably when I was younger, I didn't think so. But when I hit that 30 mark, it wasn't an option for me. You know what I'm saying? Because at 30, your body starts to change a little bit. Now you in them 20s, man, you man, but you hit 30, bro, you ain't jumping out the bed as quick as you was when you was in your 20s.
Right now.
So you moving a little quick, you're like, oh shit, you know. So at that point, I started really taking my health serious and what was going on with my health, and started doing my annual checkups and going to doctor visits and all that stuff. And you can tell the guys that are people, period, that go to the doctor regularly, because your personal doctor know you by your name. They know all of your family. Man, every time I go, my doctor, hey, Mr. Mays, how's Miss Mays doing? How's she going on with her with a weight loss journey. How's she doing that? She doing that? Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, tell her keep that up there. Oh yeah, and I noticed blah blah blah. He telling me everything. Then well, Mr. May, how the boys doing? Is the one still doing it? He still doing the tattoos? He got his shop going good. What about the other ones? What about your daughter? How's your daughter doing? Is she, what's she doing now? He gonna ask me everything about the kids and everybody, the dogs. He even asks about the dog. How many dogs you got now, Mr. May? Man, now if that ain't true to somebody that know everything,
right?
He didn't get to know all that stuff about me coming once every 6-7 years.
Right.
That's me coming regularly and often like I supposed to, and getting checkups and stuff like that like I supposed to, and him finding out in the process of doing that, you got kids, Mr. May? Yeah, man, I got them. Oh, okay. So my kids in basic group, now my son goes to him. Well, my son go to him. And he loved Dr. Walker. He'll tell you in a minute, because this is what really made him go. When he didn't have insurance, they still took him, and then they didn't try to price gouge him because he didn't have insurance. They worked with him, even prescribed him prescriptions and stuff, and he just paid them for a little doctor visit.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
And he said, man, they work with me. So when he got his insurance straight, he was like, oh, I'm making sure they on my list.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on 1 second, man.
Okay. Monica says, fear can definitely be a factor for men and women. I had my first colonoscopy last year and should have had it 2 years prior, and it really wasn't as bad as I thought. The best nap ever. Wow. Rodney said, my job has at the job medical screening once a year, since they know we are 97% male drivers and we rarely take time off for doctor's appointments. That's good. Yep. Just confirmation for me, because I got to get ready to go to the doctor here in a little while for my checkup. We're gonna get ready to clock that T when Tony come back.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and that's good, Rodney, that you guys actually had that on your job, because we don't have the actual like the annual like your annual visit, but we do annual biometric screening all over the city, where we set up biometric screen. We get companies come in, and sometimes we set them up at the library. We set them up randomly all across the city, so all the employees have an opportunity to at least get their biometric screenings done. Because we want to make sure, because part of us having this Blue Cross Blue Shield is being able to capitalize on the benefits. And when we're showing stuff like that and we're setting up this stuff like that, a lot of people don't realize, but these companies understand this, that, hey, if we can keep your employees healthy, that lowers your annual premiums, or the amount of premiums that employers have to pay for employees and employees have to pay. So if y'all was smart, you would be going to get them, because every time you do this helps when they can show that they don't have the less of their employee population has mild to no medical issues. The insurance premiums go up when you got a lot of people that work for your organization that have major medical complications, because they know they're gonna pay out a lot. So what they do is your insurance premiums are higher. If y'all didn't know that, so you might want to start trying to go and get these little screenings so you can try to prevent some of this major stuff from happening, because it can eventually lower your insurance premiums. And that was stuff that I just had to find out by working on, when we go out to bid on the bidding process for insurances and stuff like that, and me having to sit in some of those boards, you know, I got a chance to experience that and understand that was that, and a lot of times that what drives the cost up on insurance premiums.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of it, what people don't realize is some of it, a lot of it is your employer is carrying the buck of some of those insurance premiums to help try to keep your premiums low. So that's part of the benefits that's being paid to you. And then you got some companies. I know FedEx used to be back in the day. I don't know how they are now, but FedEx used to absorb a lot of cost of the insurance premiums. So I don't know. You and Don could probably speak to that, but I know back in the day that's how it used to be. They used to absorb a lot of the insurance premiums, and the insurance used to be almost free for employees.
Right.
The cultural and societal factors, historical and ongoing disparities in healthcare access and trust can also contribute to men's reluctance to seek medical attention. You know, society, we talked about this once before, how society has kind of put men like we ain't supposed to show no signs of weakness. We supposed to be the main focal point in the household, the strong ones, So, the way we have been depicted and portrayed is supposed to be is the way a lot of men grow up, or a lot of young boys grow up. And when they grow up, my dad always said, man, we got some ignorant sayings, bro, that have been passed on because they didn't know no better, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to George Wallace. He was doing an interview, and this guy said he was under weather and said he had a bad cold. And he said, that's the dumbest shit I ever said. He said, what the hell is a bad cold? He said, but we say some of the dumbest shit. He said, just like what he say? He said, they dead and buried, dead and gone. That's what he said. They dead and gone. He said, is there such thing as dead and you still alive or something? Dead and gone.
Yeah.
He said just some of the dumbest stuff that I'm gonna write a whole book on some of the dumbest we'd ever said.
Yeah, man, that'd be true. Like you said, we say built the house from the ground up. He said, what the hell else you gonna build it in?
Yeah. He said, I think if you start building it from the roof, you're gonna have problems.
That dude is special, Doc.
Yeah, but I mean, if you think about what he said, it makes sense. And a lot of stuff that we've said, man, we've said out of ignorance, or we stuff that's been passed down from generation. But we've never vetted none of this stuff. We just believe anything that's been told to us in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely can't see that.
You can't see that? Okay. Craig Johnson says, and that's why so many black men allow their testosterone to get in the way of their health. And don't nobody want to be dealing with no unhealthy man. So black men miss you. Go to the doctor. And we as black men are together. Let us bond and talk about issues that affect we as black men. Let's come to the round table. I am Craig Johnson, 901 Memphis, Tennessee. It's better to know than not to know. I'm just saying, amen, amen. Hebrews 11:1. Okay.
Well, that's what we're doing now. That's what we're using our platform for now, to talk about these things. See, we say all the time, man, like the stuff that we talk about, man, it's to bring awareness. It's to bring awareness with and everything that we do, And so we talk about a lot of topics that sometimes, some people consider taboo. Because at one point, I used to tell Lavelle, he'll tell you, I don't want to talk about the sex stuff. I don't want to talk about all that. He said, well, Tony, there are a lot of people that they struggling because they're not talking about the sex in their household and all this, and that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So now with us, ain't really no subject taboo. We'll talk about just about anything, because if it leads to people becoming better versions of themselves or helping people, we want to talk about it.
Yep, we got to. This is my reminder that I need to go get my it's time for me to get my screening.
Yeah.
I hadn't had my annual yet.
What Joseph say?
He said I deal with those premiums issues all day. You all should see how the group admin works to get to lower your premiums. But the thing is underwriting, analyzing the pool and how sick the employees may be, and the cost can be high or low. Tony made a good point. Getting the health screening will help.
Yep. I just said in there, man, and just even with my wife, working in benefits all those years, she worked in benefits, being a benefits manager. She used to have to sit in a lot of those RFP meetings too, where they're talking about what insurance carrier we're gonna go with this time, what are they gonna offer, how they gonna discount this, and when insurance carriers look at the medical records of some of the medical things that have been submitted in the past, that was driver cost. When you see you got 10% of your working population that has serious health issues, and they said, well, we already know with those issues, we're gonna pay out a lot of costs. So we gotta offset that cost some kind of way by passing that on to other employees. So that cost of those premium goes up.
Mm-hmm.
So, but by you going to have those health screenings and early detection and preventing those things from happening, so they don't have to pay out for cancer treatments and all this stuff, then that helps in the long run with saving on your annual premiums or your bi-weekly premiums, or however you pay your insurance through your job.
Right.
All right, let's clock that T, man.
Yes, sir. Hey, Ms. Alfreda.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Y'all know what time it is with them phones down, fingers up. It's time to clock that T with your girl, Queen Watkins. I hope y'all having an amazing morning. But y'all know what time it is. It's time to clock that T. Have y'all heard of the cheating scandal where the side female just got upset because she was told no? Yeah. Let's talk about it. So there's a pastor that's in Mississippi and a young lady from Mississippi. Not gonna get no names. Y'all want to find out? Y'all gonna have to look. Okay. Anywho, they met up at McDonald's, and old girl was telling him about her baby daddy problems, about family problems, life problems in general. I guess the pastor let her know, like, he gonna pray for her. He gonna be there for her, And so he was, like, he was helping old girl with her bills, taking her out to eat. They had photos of them going out, all type of stuff, right? So at one point, pastor told her no to something. They didn't say what it was, but he told her no. And once he told her no, mind you, she knew he was married from jump. So she knew she was a side piece anyway. So, baby girl, you had to play your role. But I guess she got upset because he told her no about what, I don't know. But it had to be something extreme because old girl went to his wife. And so his wife and Miss Shirley said, baby, I don't believe you. I don't know. No, this is not that. And she was younger. She was a younger girl. So the wife was like, baby, please, whatever you're talking about, I'm not trying to hear. So I guess that made her upset. So she went to social media and started posting like text messages, big paragraphs, all type of stuff, because the wife did not believe that, husband was cheating, and she couldn't break up their happy home, right? Well, supposedly, allegedly happy home. Because you in a happy home, why is you stepping out? But then again, that's your business, right, Pastor? Once you're supposed to pray about that and figure it out with God. Hell, neither one of them was in the right with this situation. I'm just saying, right? You gotta sneak and do it. You ain't in the right. Period. So side chick out here hooping and hollering on social media, sending stuff all out about this pastor, right? That could mess up his career. You know, you never know how far things like that could go. But old girl was upset because she didn't have her way. Baby girl, you a side piece, play your role. Why you mad now? Well, what did he do so bad now? You knew he was married. All right, y'all, that's all the tea that I have today. Make sure y'all tune in to 2 Minutes, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. sharp. And don't forget to stay tuned for your girl, Queen Watkins, Clock That Tea. Y'all have a blessed day. Bye.
And we this stuff right here, brother, is getting. But then you know, some stuff we bring on ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We bring it on ourselves because he knew that when he started spending or giving or participating in those things, that it was going to happen. It was going to eventually come to light.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, if you lay down with a dog, you're gonna do what? You're gonna get up with fleas. So, you know, I hate it for him, but at the same time, you know, we keep saying like you just can't throw all of this stuff out here in the atmosphere and not expect to get some of it back.
Yep. That's the way
you can't just keep throwing it out there like that. And don't think that it ain't coming back, because it's gonna come back at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And when it come back, a lot of times it's worse when it come back than when it went out.
Right.
So Quita talked the other day about, and we'll get back to the men. We'll try to close it out with the men. But Quita talked the other day about the man, right?
Mm-hmm.
That unalived the officer that supposedly, allegedly unalived his son doing that carjacking or whatever it was, right? And the police officer supposedly unalived his son, and he killed and he unalived him.
Right.
So the conversation, I got into engage in a conversation, and the conversation was, so what you think about that? I said, well, that man was wrong. I said, if his son was out there doing wrong, I said, there are consequences to doing wrong. If his son was out there robbing or whatever he was doing, and he had a gun, I said, now don't get me wrong. I don't think that the police should just be out here killing just because the kids are doing carjacking or whatever. But what you do got consequences.
Right.
That don't mean you love your child less because you saying I ain't finna go out there and do nothing. So I got engaged in a conversation where the person said, I'm killing anybody who I'm unalive, anybody who unalive my child.
Mm-hmm.
I said, so your child go out here and shoot somebody or rob somebody at gunpoint, shoot them, they don't die, and they turn around and pull up a pistol and shoot him and kill him, or the cops pull up while he in the process doing, they kill him, you're gonna go unalive the cop? Yep. I said, you sound crazy. Man, I love my child. I said, I love my child. He said, so if little Tony, I said, I would be sad. I would be really sad.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be a consequence of little Tony's actions, him robbing somebody, going out here doing whatever he did. That would be a consequence. Would I be sad? Yeah. Would I be angry? Yeah. I said, but you know what I told him today? I said, the worst part of that is I would feel bad as a father that I failed that child, that I didn't do what I was supposed to do to keep him out of the situation he was in or her in.
Yeah, they actually they interviewed the gentleman's father, the young man's grandfather, and man, that brother, man, was so upstanding and outstanding. He literally said, in this situation, we need to see how can we come away on top of this situation versus trying to be mad and angry and have violence. He said, I don't agree with what my son did, and I don't agree with what my grandson did. He said, but what y'all don't understand is that I look at this from a spiritual standpoint. He said when I looked at the footage with the police and my grandson, he said that man had fear in his eyes and he was fearing for his life and he made a wrong decision. He said my grandson made a wrong decision, and so he, you know, just the way that he approached the situation and gathered his thoughts, talking about it instead of just trying to go with the narrative, if you will.
Yeah.
Was great.
And that's what I'm talking about too. Like I understand that a lot of our young men have suffered at the hands of officers, right? And our women have suffered at the hand of officers. But and this is another thing I said. I said what you got to realize is all of this stuff is being narrated and dictated by social media and the media.
Man, Doc, me and Doc just talked about it last night. He said the exact same thing.
I said, so think about this. I said, out of all of the corruptness that we see on TV, that may represent, out of all the law enforcement across the U.S., the corruption that we see on these videos. So I said, that may represent, out of 100%, that may represent 10% of the officers.
Yep.
I said, but that's all they show is that. So you see, it making it look like all the officers are corrupt. All of them are bad. All of them. I said, so there are some good officers out here. I said, so let me ask you this. And I asked the guy, he's like, I don't care. I said, you sound crazy. I said, your son is out here unaliving people. And so the police have already been told that this dude is armed and dangerous. Your son is armed and dangerous. Approach with caution. They pull up on your son immediately pull his pistol. He don't point the pistol at him. He pulled the pistol up. But his history dictates he will unalive you. What do you think those officers gonna do?
They're gonna kill him.
And so you gonna go back and say, nah, yeah, sure is. I'm tired of these officers killing all our boys. I said, are you not tired of our boys killing our boys?
Where's the logic in it, Doc?
That's what I told him. And then I asked him a question. I said, so if you were riding down the street and you pulled up at a gas station, you got your gun in your lap, you pump your gas in there, and a young dude walked up with a chopper, point at you. That's what you finna do. I'm finna bust on him. I said, so you gonna bust on him and take him out, right? Yeah. I said, so if his daddy get mad at you because you did it, come out and get, yeah, that's what he's supposed to do. I said, boy, you sound crazy. You sound crazy. So we have to quit letting society paint the narrative that we have to follow, that we gotta like that's not, it's not the only narrative.
Right.
Social media and the media, man, look, if you look at the media, cause yesterday, even when the conviction came down for those officers and Tyree Nichols, all we saw was not guilty. That bold letter breaking, not guilty. Not that the fact that the officers still may face federal charges. None of that. Just everybody think it's just OV. It could be, it could not be.
But like I said yesterday, I said what y'all fail to realize is that I would rather this just me, because I didn't want to even watch the trial and everything. But however, bro, I would rather for me to be guilty rather to be not guilty, because the thing is they gotta walk around for the rest of their life with that jacket on their back. I don't care if they're in jail or out of jail. They can't even come to Memphis, bro. They don't have no home here no more. So you got to definitely, and this is what happens in cases like that. Those dudes have to actually be relocate to a place that's so remote, Idaho, so remote where nobody knows them. Try to get a new lifestyle, a new life, because this is a national thing. So
yeah,
it's like they don't have to get lost for a long time. They don't have to almost be non-existent.
But it happens. Like you got some places that's really obscured in the U.S. where they can go out there and live off the reservation. But it's sad that you got to do that. But it's also sad that you put yourself, again, your actions have consequences.
Yep.
You know, the actions have consequences, and I hear people. This is exactly why I moved. Like I saw Doc. This is exactly why I moved away from Memphis. This is exactly why.
I didn't address that issue, but this ain't have nothing to do with Memphis. This particular
but this is the narrative that the media and social media plays. You know what I'm saying? Still, like Memphis, you moved out of Memphis because you wanted a better life for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Not just because officers are kids, because we ain't had a whole lot of cases in Memphis where officers have unalived people, not in Memphis.
We have it.
But we have had situations. We have had situations where people have shot at officers and shot and killed or ran over officers in Memphis, though.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them situations.
Yep.
So when the mayor and the chief of police, Chief Davis, made their video yesterday and posted it, of course, I went straight to the comments to see what people had to say.
Of course.
And it was people calling for their resignation, calling for their head. But as a mayor, as a chief of police, what do you do when your officers are quitting daily because they can't even deal with the young guys that's on the street?
Mm-hmm.
You got officers that's quitting daily because they saying, I don't want to be out here dealing with these young guys. And you can't recruit people because people know I don't want to come live in Memphis because, first of all, the school system jacked up. I got small kids, the school system jacked up. We done made a name for ourselves all the way around, bro. It ain't just one particular thing. Yeah, the crime is high, the crime is bad, but it ain't just one thing.
Well, yeah, because once that particular situation gets into the courts, ain't nothing the mayor and the chief of police can do.
Right.
But it's out of their hands at that point. So I mean, of course, with the situation that occurred, could have been taken care of in the beginning part of it with the corporate union and all that old thing. But they still hired her. You know what I'm saying? So that's a whole other story. But however, once it goes into the courts, they can't make no decisions or make nobody sway no one way or the other. So I don't even agree with this statement.
Yeah, but that's up to the district attorneys and all these people, the prosecuting attorney. It's up to them. They the ones that go out there and decide what jury gonna be. It wasn't the mayor or the chief of police that decided to go get an all-white jury from up in Tennessee. That was the DA's office and all of them that decided to go do that.
Yeah.
And go get a bunch of good old boys and sit on there. That's for the police and everything. They want the police to kill folks, you know.
Right. Boy, life be life, anyway. Bro.
Yeah, life be life. So back to this men health, man. We got a couple of minutes left, man. But we definitely, man, want you guys, men, go get your annual checkups and screenings. And then just randomly, maybe if you don't want to go once a month, maybe once a quarter, because I don't even go once a month, but I go as my body dictates I need to go, or I go at least every 3 months to get my prescription refills. And then at that time, generally, if something is ailing me or something is bothering me, that's when I normally discuss it with my physician. Say, hey, well, doc, I did notice the last month or two I've been having this. Well, let me check it out. Let me look at it. Oh, well, that's blah blah blah. Let me prescribe this for you. You know, but you know, I'm gonna go every 3 months to get my prescription and just have a talk with them, and then get that annual screening done every year.
Mm-hmm.
And so you guys definitely need to don't wait till the last minute. If you know, like we know our bodies, bro. You know, the older you get, you really know how your body operates, how your body moves. And if your body is not operating the way that you know it should be, that means something is not right.
Yep. Like I got to start back walking. I got to start back exercising.
Yeah, but see, we can't
that thing right there, what you just did, I gotta start back. Just say today I'm walking. I'm going to go walk. As soon as I get off here, I'm going to walk.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? We can't keep planning. I told somebody the other day, it's like, yeah, we gonna start not eating meat too. And then I said, why why do we plan stuff that we ain't gonna never do? Because we say, oh, we're gonna start Monday not eating this. Oh, we're gonna start Monday working out. Then Monday come, oh, we're gonna start Tuesday. Then Tuesday come, oh, we're gonna start Wednesday.
Well, you don't.
So
you
just
don't
do it. What I'm saying is, let's just do it. That's how I stopped eating meat. Was that the same day I said I ain't eating this no more. I ain't say I'm waiting the Monday. I said I ain't eating this today. I ain't. Then tomorrow I ain't eating this. The next day I ain't eating this. I ain't eating. And then it just a year later. You know what I'm saying? So you got to just do it, man, because we procrastinate so much, and we say, oh, I'm gonna start Monday. Monday came, you being forgot that you even gonna start Monday. Oh, I'm gonna start next Monday. Next Monday come, yeah, start next Monday. And then now a whole year, yeah, I was supposed to start walking and exercising. Just get up and do it. After the thing, just get up. I'm going walking.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next day, after the day, I'm going walking. Next day, I'm going walking. Just do it, and then you'll form a habit. That's how habits form. Just by doing them.
Yeah.
So we got to quit talking about that's why I don't do New Year's resolutions no more. I just do it. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
So don't wait, man. Don't be intimidated by doctors. Don't be so gung-ho to you think that you can't get sick, you can't be hurt, you healthier than thou. No, go get checked up for sure, because like I said, there could be stuff going on with your body and you're not even aware of, because there are not no outward signs or even no inward signs that something is going on with you.
Mm-hmm. Blood
pressure and high cholesterol, hypertension, and all that stuff is one of those silent killers.
Mm-hmm.
Sugar, diabetes, man, all that stuff is those are silent killers. So go get checked out, and if nothing else, if you do it annually, you're doing it regularly, and you prevent stuff, you may start to see your insurance premium go down.
Right.
I guarantee you right now, if Lavelle is self-employed. If I was self-employed and not under my insurance, and Lavelle and I both went and had an physical exam to get some new health insurance, and they look at Lavelle things and say, oh, he ain't been to he had an annual checkup in 4 years. And they say, oh, he go every year, have an annual checkup, he do his regular screenings and all that. Who insurance premium you think gonna be cheaper?
Yours.
Because they say, oh, he less likely, even if it come up with something, he gonna get it diagnosed quickly and go check it out. But this guy, and Lavelle is younger than me. But they gonna say, oh, his premium is gonna be this, and his premium gonna be this. You're gonna, how your premium lower than mine? Because I go get random checkups, so they know that I have set the tone for going to get my annual physicals, my inspections, my quarterly, checkups and all this stuff. So they know that if I'm not feeling, I'm going to get it checked out. So I might do the preventive things ahead of time, whereas you may not.
Right.
So make sure, guys, that you're going to get checked, man, and put those egos and all that stuff to the side, man, and go get checked like you're supposed to be, man. We're all about helping each other become a better version of ourselves, man. We want to give attention with purpose and passion, bro. We finna gap it out all the rest of the year and continue. We're gonna gap it out. We're gonna give attention with purpose and passion, man. Let's talk about it. Lavelle, pray us out, bro.
Yes, sir. Another great topic, another great show. And I don't believe nothing happens by coincidence. Haphazards. Another thing I think a lot of people don't know, there's a thing called white coat syndrome. So literally, your blood pressure when you go to the doctor goes up just because of your thought process of what the doctor is supposed to be. And the doctor is really like your your teammates, so to speak, because like you say, ultimately, you know how you feeling and know what you're supposed to do. You know you've been tripping and eating wrong, and if you've been, you know what I'm saying. So I know I've been tripping. So I already know what I need to do. So good topic. Thank you, Rodney, for sharing it with us, and good luck on your results and everything. So we'll pray it out. Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this time. We thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for waking us up this morning, giving us reasonable portion of health and strength. Lord God, we thank you for this topic, just being concerned about our health and our well-beings. We pray for every man that whatever they're going through in their life as far as health, that you will give them the strength and the withdrawal to go to the doctor and see, even if not something wrong, but just go see the doctor just to have a report card or how to use their tool, which is called a body, to be a better person, Lord God. And Lord God, we ask you to continue to touch everything that we're doing, and we ask you to touch Tony family, Queen family, my family, and every family represented. And we ask you to do it in your darling son Jesus' name, and we said amen.
Amen, man. We'll see y'all tomorrow, same bad time,
same bad place.
2 Men in Hats. Let's talk about it.
The 2 Minute Hats podcast with your host with the most, Tony and Lavelle. Every morning from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. We also have Queen Watkins with Clock That He. Tune in with us and have a great time. Let's talk about it right here. 2 Minute Hats podcast.